Heights, presented by Belk. This features a top 10 matchup in SEC gymnastics. The 5th-ranked Florida Gators welcoming the 9th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide to the Exact Tech Arena at the Stephen C. O'Connell Center. Laura Rutledge alongside Olympic medalist Kathy Johnson-Clark. And Kathy, a lot to be excited about at this point in the season. Can't believe we're already basically halfway through. What are you looking forward to most tonight between these two teams?
Well, first of all, the most exciting thing is this rivalry. It goes back decades, so no matter how you look at the meet, that is part of the equation. They both come at this meet from different places. Florida is in a great place in the season. They started off strong. They're not dealing with any major injuries, and they're just adding their upgrades as they go. Alabama, on the other hand, they wanted to add some upgrades throughout the season. Well, now they're dealing with some injuries, and they're going to have to play some lineup switch and get through the competition. They both need big scores because RQS is going to matter soon.
We will talk about that a lot tonight. Shea Mahoney and Winter Childers, those two Alabama gymnasts dealing with injury. Tonight we show you about Jenny Rowland as Florida's head coach, Alabama senior Nikki Guerrero and her story, and Florida assistant coach Adrian Burde, the fun he brings to the table. Let's check in with the PA announcer with Alabama's introductions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Exact Tech Arena at the Stephen C. O'Connell Center for the meet tonight. Let's meet our visitors tonight from the University of Alabama. First, a senior from Fort Worth, Texas, Kiana Winston. A freshman from Cape Coral, Lexi Graber. A senior from McKinney, Texas, Nikki Guerrero. A junior from League City, Texas, Ari Guerra. A sophomore from Coppell, Texas, Peyton Ernst. A sophomore from Algonquin, Texas, Shea Mahoney. A junior from Mobile, Alabama, Abby Armbrecht. A freshman from Montgomery, Texas, Bailey Key. A freshman from Boonton, New Jersey, Alonza Cloffer. A senior from Austin, Texas, Matt Brannon. A junior from Aiken, South Carolina, Angelina Giancroce. A senior from Atlanta, Georgia, Jenny Lowe. A sophomore from Lenexa, Kansas, Maddie Desch. A sophomore from Spearfish, South Dakota, Winter Childers. And a freshman from Spanish Fort, Alabama, Kylie Dixon. The assistant coach for the Crimson Tide is Bill Lorenz. The associate head coach, Brian Raschilla. And the head coach for the University of Alabama, Dana Duckworth.
Congratulations to the Florida Gators, 2013 NCAA Women's National Gymnastics Champions. Two teams sharing the floor as NCAA champions. Florida, three-peat as NCAA team champion.
You heard the crowd erupt.
What a night for the Florida Gators.
meet your Florida Gators. A freshman from Dallas, Texas, Alyssa Bowman. A freshman from Bayville, New Jersey, Jasmine Fulmer. A freshman from Marietta, Georgia, Megan Skaggs. A freshman from Morrisville, North Carolina, Nicole Webb. A sophomore from Fort Lauderdale, Sierra Alexander. A sophomore from Waterdown, Ontario, Canada, Megan Chan. A sophomore from Urbandale, Iowa, Rachel Gowie. A sophomore from Hamilton, Ohio, three-time All-American, Amelia Hundley. A junior from Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, eight-time All-American, Alicia Boren. A junior from Orlando, Amanda Cheney. A senior from Dallas, Texas, 11-time All-American, Kennedy Baker. A senior from Allen, Texas, Grace McLaughlin. A senior from Midlothian, Virginia, 15-time All-American, 2017 Honda Award winner, and the 2017 NCAA All-Around National Champion, Alex McMurtry. A senior from Holly Springs, North Carolina, two-time All-American, Rachel Slocum. And an honorary team member from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Bailey Warner. The Gators are coached by Owen Field, Adrian Verde, and the head coach of your University of Florida Gators, Jenny Rowland. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and join us in the singing of our national anthem, signed this evening for the hearing impaired by members of the Signing Gators, and performed tonight by Megan Zonley. The judges for our competition tonight are Catherine Batch, Gina Fuller, Carol Ide, Nella Beck, and Amy Dugood.
Thanks for watching Before the Heights on SEC Plus. Make sure to tune into SEC Network at 7 Eastern for our meet. Alabama taking on Florida. You don't want to miss the action. We'll see you shortly. Watching Friday Night Heights presented by Belk, and tonight's matchup in Gainesville is a top 10 matchup between the 5th-ranked Florida Gators and the 9th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide here at the Exact Tech Arena at the Stephen C. O'Connell Center. And it's a great one. The crowd is ready to go for this one. Already pretty loud in here. And this is the reason why, as Laura Rutledge and Olympic medalist Kathy Johnson-Clark here with you, it's always close between these two teams that are used to being two of the best in the entire country. 55th straight meeting between both teams ranked in the top 10, Kathy.
And no matter what, this rivalry drives both of the teams. Regardless of what happened last week in each of their meets, they are going to come at each other hard.
Settle in for a great evening of gymnastics here on the SEC Network. Both of these teams have scores this season they'd like to replace, and they're getting to the time of the year where RQS, which stands for Regional Qualifying Score, is starting to matter, so this adds to the importance of this one.
Exactly. That RQS is based on 3 away scores and 3 home meets, so both of these teams really want to put up a big score because those rankings, they're going to change.
That's what everyone will be looking at the end of the season when we head into the postseason. And in a dual meet, we begin with Florida, the home team, on the vault. Bama will be on the bars shortly. And we're starting with Megan Chant. Kathy, they said that they wanted to emphasize better landings this week on vault.
And I am so excited that Megan Chant is in the lineup. She's going to open with a very unique vault, a Sukahara with a full twist. Now that is a traditional entry vault. She's going to take off both feet, stay upright, no round off onto the board, half turn onto the table, and launch herself into a laid out full twist. Let's see if she can get it. Very nice job. I hope the judges can appreciate that difficulty because it's not going to be as high as a Yurchenko vault without the round up, but this is technically very difficult. She does it well. A slight pike in that laid out position, but legs straight, toes pointed. Pretty good job getting that chest up on the landing, and then that hop. They'll take a little deduction there.
Definitely saw how straight her legs were. That was impressive to see. We head over to bars for Alabama. This is what the lineup looks like. Ari Guerra, the leadoff on this one. And for Bama, it's all about the Bama bubble. They want to go onto the road and be focused, poised, and focused on their team, which has been a big emphasis for Dana Duckworth and her staff this week.
And this leadoff routine is very critical to get the momentum going right off the bat. Ari's doing a nice job. Good height and distance on that release move. A little bit of muscle up on her hip pass to handstands. Let's see if she can be a little bit smoother right here. Again, the legs coming out. Oh, no! She went hard for it. She knows the importance of the handstand. Unfortunately, she overcooked that. That's a fall. 0.5 of a point deduction, and she just could not pull it back. Most coaches would say they want them to, if they're going to make a mistake, make an aggressive one, going hard, and that's what she did.
Also, too, certainly different apparatus on the road, trying to get used to exactly what that feels like factors in as well.
She'll pick up where she left off. She just has the dismount to go right here, and you got to fight for every 10th of a point, regardless of the fall. Double layout, nailed the landing, good for her.
Here are the rules for a collegiate gymnastics dual meet. 6 gymnasts, as you can see, per team competing in each event, and that means they can drop a low score. Of course, Alabama will already be looking to drop Ari Guerra's leadoff score. After all 4 apparatus, the team with the highest cumulative score will win, and the order is as follows, which means we go back to Florida on vault. Amelia Hunley in the 2nd spot. Megan Chant before her had a 9.825.
This is a Yurchenko vault. This will have the round-off entry onto the board. Very clean vault. That's exactly what they need in that lineup spot. A Yurchenko vault has a start value of 995, so that's the highest that vault can score. Little leg separation as she made contact with the table, but excellent job controlling the landing.
We go back over to bars for Alabama, and of course, following Ari Guerra's fall, they're going to want to try to put a little more pressure on the rest of the lineup. Let's see what Lexi Graber can do here in this second spot, Kathy.
And that pressure falls on a freshman. Okay, so that in and of itself is a challenge. And she has jumped into this number 2 spot because Winter Childers would normally have it, but she is out with an injury. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, and Ari Guerra did get a 9.25, just so you know the score.
So this is an opportunity, and as long as Lexi really takes advantage of that and sees it as such, you got to embrace the pressure to handle it. Nice handstand to begin. Giant full. I can see her working really hard on those legs. A little separation as she regrasps her bar. Again, just a slight leg separation there. These are little deductions. See if she can hit that final handstand. And the dismount, good swing into it, half in, half out. Excellent job, good for her. Nice to see her handle that pressure. Now the judges are going to sit on the side, so we've got the view they have right here. Good job getting the shoulders over the bar. A slight sway in the back, but that will be no deduction. This was the highlight punctuation of a very solid routine.
Her toe point in that handstand, beautiful. Back over to vault for Florida, and this is Jasmine Foberg, the freshman, following up 2 9.825s. Amelia Hunley was the second.
This is a Yurchenko full as well, 995 start value. Oh my gosh, it was a better vault in the air than Amelia Hunley, but that big hop on the landing, that's going to cost her.
And that is something that Jenny Rowland had been emphasizing this week. She said she liked the big vaults they were doing, but got to finesse those landings a little more.
One of the challenges for these elite gymnasts that come into college, they may have performed a double twist in their elite career, so coming back down to that full, they really have to learn to find that position in the air to get the landing.
Yeah, and elite gymnasts don't compete as regularly as they do in college by any means, so you have to manage some of that as well. Here's Shea Mahoney on the bars for Alabama. She is following up a 9.85 from Lexi Graber, which is a career high. Oh no, it's not actually, but it's a very good score. Shea Mahoney, we told you, dealing with an injury this week. She hurt her foot earlier in the week. We're going to see her on 2 events though, Kathy, hopefully.
Fortunately, all she has to do on that foot is the landing. So far, this routine is so clean. I love the patience I'm seeing on the swing, really hitting those positions, emphasizing them with perfect form. So far, a great job here. All she has to do is manage the landing on a hurt foot, and she does it. Well done. I love to see them rally after that first miss routine. Look how tight her legs are together, and I know, Laura, you love those pointed toes. And
beautiful.
Just gorgeous, and fights for the landing perfect.
It's got to be a big statement to her teammates. She is not feeling 100% with that hurt foot. She comes out there and toughs it out anyway. Back over to the vault for Florida. Alicia Boren in this spot here. She's following up another 9.825. Florida with 3 9.825s to start the vault lineup.
And we're going to up the difficulty a little with a 1.5 twist. She'll land facing away from the tip. Whoa, there was so much energy. She couldn't quite contain it. I actually think she could go for a little bit more distance, hold those feet up now, because normally she lands much closer to the table. This is so much more dynamic. 5.5 feet off the table. She could really lay it out, freeze those feet a little bit more, and probably get that landing.
So back over to bars for Alabama, Kathy. Important for Bama to hit these last 3 routines here with Kylie Dixon now as a freshman. That way they could drop Guerra's score, that leadoff ball that they had. But Shea Mahoney with an incredible routine right before this, and we'll give you her score as soon as we have it. Kylie Dixon now in a big spot as a freshman as well.
Absolutely. And the nice part now is they've gotten through the first half of the lineup, which is the part they had to tweak because of injuries. They do have the fall. They want to drop that score. The last half of the lineup, this is comfortable. These are very solid routines. They've been consistent throughout this season thus far. They just have to be normal.
Shea Mahoney still looking for her score. But by the way, Alicia Boren, that big vault almost looked like it surprised her. That was a 9.8. So far, Florida off to a good start as we see Kylie Dixon back on the bars here for Bama.
Watch the form. Oh, might have been a tiny bit short on that transition to low bar. I love her long legs and long lines. That beautiful straddle up position to the handstand. Gorgeous height on her release move. Oh, I think she was short on the final handstand. The form is gorgeous though. Look at this, half in, half out. Over-rotated and took that step back.
And now we are going to show you Rachel Slocum. She's about to go on vault. This was her before the meet.
This was a warm-up, and it was unbelievable.
Kathy, you're in there.
I was standing with Jenny with that, and I looked at her and I said, she's got to bottle that and bring it back during competition.
Maybe she'll bring back that guitar move as well if she nails this vault. Rachel Slocum, known for her carefree attitude. She brings it to this team, and this vault is really cool.
I can see the excitement in her body right now as she charges down the runway. Handspring front pike half. Woo! She went a little too hard for the stick. And when you get ahead of yourself a little bit, the vault wasn't quite as big as we saw in the warm-ups, but she didn't move her feet. So that part's good. She was thinking a little too soon about sticking. But this was an extraordinary vault in terms of distance. Check this out, 8.5 feet. Wow, look at that.
She almost looks like she's suspended in the air at one point in that vault, which is just beautiful.
Well, funny you should say that. In order to get a stick, you really have to hang it up there. You have to hit a position in the air, a shape we call it, without traveling as you're trying to spot for the landing.
Back to bars will go for Alabama. By the way, Shea Mahoney with a 9.825. That's a season high. Kylie Dixon also with a 9.825. And now Kiana Winston with her beautiful form on the bars.
And I love that she started the routine with a smile to relax and a big breath. She has been incredibly consistent for Alabama all season long. And look at the gorgeous line. She had to work a little hard on that kip out of the pack salto, but she just covers that beautifully with extraordinary technique. Well-trained athlete here, and it shows. Double layout, a gorgeous, perfect landing. Good for her. How impressive that this team has come back. Watch how floaty and high that pack salto. She caught a little too close to the bar. Her hips were almost on the bar, and she still pulled it out with perfection at the end.
They needed to make sure that those last three were solid. And of course, we will see their anchor in Mackenzie Brannon. But first, Alex McMurtry on the vault, anchoring this vault rotation. Let's see what she does here, Kathy. She's got the beautiful double she can do.
Everybody loves it. It's a double twist. Extraordinary technique. Gorgeous. Okay, that was better than we saw last time at the home meet where they gave her a 10. That was actually a better vault, a more perfect landing. So now these are different judges, obviously. Look at the tight body position. Perfect block. I mean, she goes off her fingertips and no movement on the landing. But watch this, the height above the table, 5.5 feet, and distance is 8 feet. Look at that. And no movement of the feet on the landing.
She's following up Rachel Slocum's 9.875. We'll keep our ears and eyes open for a potentially very high score for Alex McMurtry anchoring that vault lineup. And now here's Mackenzie Brannon on the bars for Alabama. She's going to have to stay focused as this crowd could potentially go wild here soon.
Nice swing so far. Mac can only compete on the uneven bars now, and she is making the most of it because this is an all-around gymnast. Capable of all 4 events, but she's got some injuries, so they're focusing all her talent, all her energy for this one routine, and she comes through beautifully. Nice job. Way to come up strong in the anchor position. Double layout.
What a way to finish up that bars lineup for Alabama. Alex McMurtry, you said that vault was better than a 10-0 she's gotten earlier this season. Not tonight, though, a 9.975. Still a lot to be proud of for both of these teams in the first rotation. A great start here in Gainesville. The inflatable gator likes it. We'll be back with plenty more here as we continue on. Florida, Alabama. For the first rotation, Florida leading Alabama by 25th 1,000ths of a point. And it was an interesting first rotation. Alabama had to make a little bit of a comeback, and Florida, of course, ending with Alex McMurtry's dynamic vault.
I'm impressed with both teams. I really love seeing Florida do that variety of vaults. I love seeing 4 different, unique vaults. And then Alabama, good for them. They went hard on that first routine, made a mistake, but turned it around with Lexi Graber, the freshman, under all that pressure, really coming up big, and then everybody just followed suit.
Alex McMurtry's vault, you said better than a 10-0 than she'd had earlier this season. What was so great about it?
This was a much better vault. There's a tiny little leg separation right there. You can hardly see it, but the landing was better. But you know what? That's just the way it goes in gymnastics judging.
9.975. She's not going to say she doesn't like that score. Here's Rachel Slocum. We showed you earlier with the guitar. Now she's on the T-shirt cannon. She told me earlier there's some technique to this that she was trying to figure out. I think she nailed it. I just hope she didn't hit anyone in the face. She said she was concerned about that, Kathy. And you know, with Rachel, you just never quite know what's going to happen. Jenny Rowland, the Florida head coach, has grown and developed so much in her 3rd year here in Gainesville. When we come back, she'll tell you all about it.
It's been an easy transition, but always a challenging process. What I love about it is it's never the same. You're never going to get the same day twice. You deal with amazing athletes, amazing young women, amazing staff, and you go through a process day in and day out. I truly believe that athletes that we recruit definitely help in that process. My team especially, there's not really a top-down. We're a big puzzle. And every piece of the puzzle has to be intact in order for us to be successful. And I think that's what's been so amazing about this year so far, is that this team really has taken ownership of themselves in the gym, out of the gym, and they're running with it.
Almost feels like we've gotten to watch Jenny Rowland grow over these last 3 years, just covering her from a distance. But Kathy, you've known her for years. How have you seen her coaching style develop?
You know, it's just as rewarding watching a coach really evolve.
Yeah.
And just seamlessly go into a different position, a head coach position, because it was sudden. This was not, she didn't have time to plan. It was like, oh my gosh, I have this opportunity, and jump right in. I have these amazing athletes who welcomed her. That made all the difference too, because I think they trusted her, and now she's just coming into her own. It's wonderful.
And she said Bridget Sloan, of course, who was here the first year that she came in, was a big part of that acceptance. Now heading into the 2nd rotation, and that means Alabama will be on the vault. Florida on the bars. We've told you about Shea Mahoney dealing with this foot injury, but here she is in her 2nd event that we'll see her in tonight. She's going to lead off the vault lineup for the Crimson Tide.
We were a little surprised since the injury was to her foot, but she looked fine. She's going to open with a Yurchenko full. Look at that very nice, clean vault. Start value of 995.
And we want to update you on a scoring thing here, Kathy. Shea Mahoney on bars, they changed her score from a 9.825 to a 9.875. So Bama now leads by 25th 1,000ths of a point. That was big. That was a big change for Shea Mahoney and for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Back over to the bars, and this will be Florida's leadoff gymnast, Alicia Boren.
And one thing Florida really needs to start doing now, especially this time of the season, is get those landings. We got to start seeing stuck landings on all the events. Great handstands so far. Excellent work. Really nailing that part of her gymnastics. Beautiful work. Very consistent on this event. There's a stick. Now that's what they have to start dialing in, routine after routine.
Jenny Rowland had said coming into this one that they've given away too much on landings.
It's the one thing that's just obvious. Sometimes the judges sort of give you a little handstand here or there. That one's perfect, right on top of the bar. Sometimes they don't take into consideration the difficulty in the routines, but they're going to see this. If that foot moves, they're going to take a deduction.
Big time leadoff score for Florida, and then back over to the vault for Alabama. Here's Abby Armbrecht.
Another Yurchenko fall, very good. They are taking full advantage of the landings. They are not giving away those tenths of a point.
And that was following up Shea Mahoney's 9.85, a career high, Kathy.
Oh, she was almost off the end of that board there. The difference is Florida may have bigger vaults. They're a little higher. They may be traveling and being a little bit more dynamic on the vault, but Alabama's sticking landings.
At the end of a meet, a lot of times we look back and say who stuck the most landings as we head back over to bars. Jasmine Faubourg is the second gymnast here in this rotation. She's following up Alicia Boren's 9.925 on the bars, which is a career high.
And she has a cool element in this routine. Pack salto down to the low bar. Right after this shot, she cranks a Ginger, a single bar release move out of a little half swing. That is not easy to do. A lot of strength in this routine. Half in, half out. I think they learned a lesson. It's like, hey, we don't want this that close. We got to start sticking.
Sticks can be contagious too.
I love this. Now, it's not going to be as big a release move as you'll see others do, but because she combines it after that transition from low to high bar, it's a great combination of difficulty.
Lots of height on that dismount too. So Florida off to a good start on the bars, and Alabama off to a nice start on the vault as well. Abby Armbrecht with a 9.825. Now Lexi Graber, the freshman.
And we've seen her do a 1.5 twist at least a few times throughout. They're going for the full. They need to be conservative in this meet. That was their decision. They want to get through safely. And it's that balancing of risk and reward. Is it worth that half a tenth of a point more doing more difficulty if you're not going to get the landing?
And they are dealing with a couple injuries. Alabama is, as we've told you, Shea Mahoney dealing with a foot injury, but she's had some great scores tonight. But we will not see Winter Childers, who's dealing with a wrist injury. Back over to bars for Florida. Megan Skaggs, the freshman, now following up Jasmine Faubourg's 9.825.
Now, last time we were here, Megan did an exhibition routine on this event. Good to see her in the lineup. So aggressive with her swing and hitting the handstands. Look how beautiful that release move is. She turns it over to get the swing into the release move down to low bar. Very few gymnasts do those back-to-back release moves. Hopefully it will be rewarded in the score. Gorgeous, giant swing. Oh! Now they're going to deduct, unfortunately, because though she didn't move her feet, she stepped quickly into the salute, but she buckled a little bit. So that was a deep knee bend. But check this out. Turns it over right here to get huge swing out of it and into the second release move. Right here, a little too deep on the knee bend. They'll take a little deduction there.
We call that a grand plie in ballet.
Yes.
That one was down pretty low. Kiana Winston now for Alabama on the vault. Lexi Graber had a 9.85. Alabama now has one career high and two season highs on this vault lineup.
Kiana was a last-minute replacement in the vault lineup, and boy, it's nice to see her here doing her Yurchenko full. She hasn't vaulted this season, but this is a nice, clean, she sets up the twist. It's not quite as high as some of the big vaults we'll see, but very clean in the air.
Kiana Winston has really taken on a leadership role this year, finally finding her own confidence, and we're seeing that in her gymnastics. Back over to bars for Florida, Amelia Hunley now. Megan Skaggs with a 9.8 before her.
Now, Laura, repeat after me. Shap to pack, shap half.
Shap to pack, shap half.
Good job. Those are her big skills on the bars, and she does them back to back. Huge difficulty right there. There's the shap. Down to a pack salto. And she comes right back with the
Shap
same
half.
skill. Shap half, see it? There it is with the half twist. You're
Love it.
learning, Laura.
I'm trying.
Very solid routine. One of her best this season. Tight knee position in that half in, half out. Well done. Here we go. Shap. That's for Shapashnikova. I actually know Natalia. I competed with her.
That's when you know you're cool.
And the Shap with a half twist. Just beautifully done. And a gorgeous, perfectly stuck landing. So happy to see Florida finally finding those landings.
That was a big goal of theirs this week, as we've told you. Maddie Desch now on the vault for Alabama, following up a 9.825 from Kiana Winston.
And another Yurchenko fold. Keep in mind, Alabama has some 1.5s in their back pocket. They haven't decided to unveil them yet. When they do, they will have their share of 10-0 vaults. But good, clean position in the air. It looks like she might have been slightly off center.
And that's the right approach tonight, right? To just keep it safe on the road.
This is that part of the season, right in the middle, where you have to be a little bit careful. You got to manage bodies, their energy, and just make sure they get through cleanly and safely.
Rachel Gowie now on the bars for Florida, a 9.9 for Amelia Hunley. That's a high score in this bars rotation for Florida so far.
This routine has so much in it. The single bar release right there. Really effortless swing to the pack salto. Nice quick turn on that pirouette. Solid handstand throughout and a double layup. Oh, she didn't need to pipe down that much. You got to trust it sometimes when you got that position in the air. Nice handstand to go into the release move. Perfect distance. You see how straight her arms are when she reaches out for the regrasp. Right here, she just piped a little too much, which then over-rotates her and she has to hop out.
You mentioned how Alabama has been a little bit conservative with these fulls on the vault rotation, but Nikki Guerrero will do a 1.5.
And she will always do this vault. She is as consistent as anyone doing the 1.5 twist. And most important, she is ultra competitive.
This is her favorite event.
She comes up with it when it counts. They need it to be big, and she delivers it. She has really good air sense. You can tell she knows exactly where she is. She doesn't have to look for the landing. She feels it. Little bit of form, just slight leg bend. About 4.5 feet above the table. Opens those arms up, nice to see, and 7 feet away from the table.
We'll tell you more about Nikki Guerrero's story later on in the show. Alex McMurtry now anchoring the bars rotation for Florida, and she's capable of a 10 on this event as well.
She looks so tall on this event, especially when she flies into her release move. Sky-high amplitude. Perfect handstand. She's showing it off here. I have a feeling she is striving for absolute perfection. If she can hang this up like she usually does, there it is. You can tell in the air. You can tell when she's going to nail a landing because she hits the release point perfectly when she lets go of that bar. Now watch how high and the perfect distance. Look at this, 2.5 feet above the bar. But this is uncanny here. She knows exactly where to put herself in the air to find that landing. Perfect release point from the giant swing, and I could tell it in the air. And Laura has Coach Duckworth now.
Good job, Kathy. You're like play-by-play analyst, everything. We've got Coach Duckworth here who can do it all as well. And Coach, a season high on vault for your team. What led to that?
1% better. That's all we talked about all week. How can we be 1% better? And I'm going to say this. After the first kid up on bars falls and you go 5 up, 5 count, that is an incredible confidence builder. And then to go to vault and know that they were confident and just did their thing and we have more to add. That's what's so exciting. So very pleased with where we are right now. Let's continue this trend of 1% better.
How do you be 1% better on floor?
Well, for everybody, they know what their job is. We talked about what you need to do in your leap passes, what we're going to do in controlled landings, already switching or tumbling around. I mean, there's just some little things. So those are all the building blocks of success. And I just want to see them continue to shine for that competitive greatness I know they have in them.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Roll Tide.
Florida has a slight lead as we head to break. We'll be back with rotation 3 here in Gainesville. 10 matchup on Friday Night Heights presented by Belk between the 5th-ranked Florida Gators and Alabama Crimson Tide. Florida leads by just over 2/10, and Bama has had a season high on vault. Florida a season high on bars. Nikki Guerrero had a 9.9 on vault. She's continued to be a great, important leader for this Alabama team, and she's so thankful for every single day she gets to put that Alabama jersey leotard on her body.
I was from a small gym, wasn't really expecting much for my college career, and then when I came here and was offered here, my dreams came true, essentially. So just hitting my routine every time, just realizing like, wow, I've really made it here. It just kind of brings my passion crazy like that. I'm just so grateful for the opportunity from literally freshman year till now. Every time I go out there, I just know like it could be somebody else, and so I'm just so very, very grateful for the opportunity to represent my team in this university, and it just gets me really emotional every time I talk about it.
One of my favorite things about collegiate gymnastics is the passion and how much that matters. To me, Nikki Guerrero embodies that perfectly.
You took the words right out of my mouth, really. It's what I love about college gymnastics, because everybody comes in with a dream, a dream they've had since they were a child, and to see it all happen for them in front of their school, their families, in the sport they've loved since they were little, there's nothing better.
With the crowds going wild, even when you're on the road, it's an incredible environment. And we told you we got a great night of gymnastics for you here on the SEC Network. Maya Hambrick and the LSU Tigers taking on Missouri. That follows us as soon as this meet is over. Stay tuned.
We saw 3 unique vaults, all different. Front entrance on this one vault, the front handspring. Now add a little quarter twist down on your left corner, and the round off back handspring up to the table by Alex McMurtry. All different on the table. They launch. You've got a front pike half on top, a Sukahara full, and the double twist. It's like magic.
I actually think that was magic. That's what you call TV magic, I guess, right there. It was incredible to see, and we've been treated to a really exciting meet so far with season highs from both teams throughout as we head into this 3rd rotation. We're going to see Florida on the beam and Alabama on the floor. We heard what Dana Duckworth wants to see on the floor with that extra 1%. But Amelia Hunley now leading off on beam, and the leadoff performer is so crucial to a beam lineup, Kathy.
It's important on every event, but for balance beam, there is just a different feeling when you can find somebody to start you off that is calm and consistent and yet aggressive. There's magic again.
She's been a little sick this week, too. She missed Monday's practice, but has looked dynamic so far.
I'll tell you what, for her to be able to still connect those two, even though she was slightly off on the first one, was very impressive. Her acrobatic series, a back handspring, layout, step out. You'll see this done many, many times this evening. It's one of the more common acrobatic series the gymnasts perform. A cat leap switch to side leap. I didn't think I'd ever be able to say that again with a straight face. Somebody on Twitter thought I said a Catholic jump instead of a cat leap. So
I guess that's what it looks like.
No, then you'd have to cross yourself. Now the smile comes. Look at her. She knows she's getting through the balance beam routine. So far, very solid. Just that one little balance correction early in the routine. A round off 1.5 twist. Perfect landing. Good fight there. So watch from the end. You can really see how the upper part of her body leans over, but she continues to keep the arms moving, and hopefully can get credit for that combination
Of course, the judges are not watching it in slow-mo like we just did, so it looked a little more connected in real time as we head back over to floor for Alabama. Ari Guerra is leading off, and last week Alabama had a season high on floor, so they are, as Dana has continued to say, building as they go along. We'll see if they can keep that momentum going on the road.
Now, this floor routine, as I said, Alabama wants to introduce more of their difficulty as the season goes by. They're going to do it incrementally. Ari's going to open with a tuck double back, which will soon be a double layout when she adds that. But the following two passes, she's going to upgrade them both here to start getting used to the kind of energy you need to do more difficulty at the end of the routine.
Dana Duckworth calls that making it the ultimate routine with the bigger skills, what they've been doing up until this point, the go-to routine.
So as I said, this is going to be sort of in between that go-to routine and the ultimate. This is her new middle pass, back 1.5 twist to a front layout. She did that at the end of the routine last time. It just shows you how versatile these athletes are.
It's interesting having to perform your floor routine on the road to a crowd that is not as engaged, although respectful, but not quite as engaged as your home crowd.
Okay, so this is the big jump in difficulty. She's going to do a pike double back, the most difficult pass that she's done in this routine. She's going to do it at the end. Very well done. That is a success.
Ari Guerra leading off the floor rotation for Alabama. Let's see that last pass again.
And you could see why Brian Rashilla, associate head coach, got so excited at the end. This was a big final tumbling run. So imagine when she adds that double layout to the beginning, that's the ultimate routine for her.
A lot more difficulty to come for Alabama, and many of the teams throughout collegiate gymnastics, you have to pace yourself in order to be ready to go at the end of the season. We see Grace McLaughlin here. And Kathy, one interesting point about her academic schedule makes it to where she can't train with the rest of the team. She has to do all of her training on her own. Lots of commitment there.
I find that incredibly inspiring, really, because it just shows how committed. Oh, the same kind of mistake that we saw from Amelia. She won't get credit really for that combination. She needed to put those two together without the balance break. Split jump to a double stag. She's definitely nervous. She has not had the opportunity to compete a lot this season, so this is good experience. There's nothing you can do in a gym, no matter how many pressure sets you do or stop and watch. Everybody has to watch. You have to get in a meet to feel it and get used to it. So she managed it. She got through it, and she can get better.
And that helps with your depth, especially toward the end of the season. You hope that you don't need to rely on depth, but you might.
So this is a front aerial, and she just really didn't have the rotation on that front aerial. Not quite aggressive enough going into it, so just slightly off to the side on both of those elements. Finished strong with an aerial cartwheel to a full, little bit low, and had to pike down and step forward.
Back over to floor for Alabama. Maddie Desch, the second performer in this rotation, following up a 9.85 from Ari Guerra, which is a season high from Ari. Of course, she added that difficulty, paid off.
Now, Maddie has already done her ultimate routine. This is it. She's going to open with the double Arabian. It's not easy to land. Oh, I thought she was going to be short. It just did not quite have the lift out of the round-up back handspring into it. It's the kind of skill you just really have to go all out and get those arms up. So a fall on floor is also 0.5 of a point, just like the other events. Nice height on the back 1.5 twist.
Just to remind everyone, you have 6 gymnasts in each rotation, so you can drop a low score if you need to.
Lost a little bit of toe form on at the height of that leap and the jump. See a little bit of fatigue. She's really trying to gather her energy to go into this final tumbling pass. Had to work hard, but a much better landing on the tuck double back. Okay, too bad. I was afraid on that round up back handspring. I just saw it a little bit sluggish, a little bit slow getting the arms up. You'll see it here in the replay. This is the round off back handspring. Right here, her arm just a lift. They didn't get the lift they needed to really transfer the energy of the round up back handspring into the big skill. But finished strong, nice chest position on that landing.
So now back over to the beam for Florida. Alicia Boren is the second performer in this lineup, and she's following up a 9.8 from Amelia Hunley. And we've seen Alicia with even more increased confidence this season long. She has been so dynamic, really has come into her own this year. College basketball continues tomorrow with a doubleheader on the SEC network. It's number 8 Auburn in Athens to battle Georgia at 3 p.m. Eastern. Then number 15 Tennessee takes on Alabama at Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa. Both games streaming live on the ESPN app as well. And what we've seen from SEC basketball this year has been kind of similar to what we're used to seeing from SEC gymnastics. Some of the best teams in the country. One of the strongest conferences happens to be the SEC. It'll be fascinating to see how many SEC basketball teams end up in the NCAA tournament. Alicia Boren now taking the beat.
So this is a little pressure situation, and it's not a bad thing to experience at this point in the season. You really have to test yourself in every situation. I love that she's aggressive right off the bat.
And it's pressure because Grace McLaughlin had a 9.65 before her.
Do you see how strongly she brings those arms up, lines herself up, and hits the finished pose? She's in command, and that's what you have to be. You just have to be in command of every single landing. Finish it. Always finish it. I love how sure she looks as she moves through the balance beam. This confidence she has earned. She's always on in practice, but now she's able to bring it to the competition floor and do it exactly the way she does it in the gym. Good for her.
I didn't want to say it before now, but her mom last week watched her do balance beam for the first time ever, and she had an incredible score, nailed it last week. I think her mom might have been watching again tonight.
Yeah, I think Coach Rowland has asked her to come to every single home meet. So, very good job here.
I can't imagine, I'm not a mother, but whenever I am, I can't imagine watching my child on a 4-inch wide, 4 feet in the air apparatus. That would be terrifying.
I never understood why my mom left the arena until I became a mother. Now I get it. Completely.
Now you get it. This is cool. Alonza Klopfer for Alabama never competed a college routine on the floor. This is her debut, Kathy.
This is a highlight for this team. They are so happy to see her get the opportunity to shine.
She is following up a 9.2 for Maddie Desch, so a little bit of pressure here in her debut.
She has worked so hard on cleaning up her execution and her form, and I know Dana has worked really hard on those toes and making pictures. She wants to see them make pictures. High double back. Oh, a little bit low chest on the landing, but finessed it pretty well. You hear that? They spell out
Bama. That was
Bama.
a B-A-M-A, roll, tide, roll.
Tide, roll.
There we go.
All of them have it in their routine, and it obviously goes over a lot better in Tuscaloosa.
A little louder in Tuscaloosa.
She was a little bit arched in that front layout, but I love that she got this chance. She just sparkled throughout the routine. Good for her.
Great dance from her as well. You can see that that's a strength of hers.
So she closed out the routine with a double back in tuck position, even kicked out a little bit there at the end.
For your Florida Gators next on the beat.
Well, we've seen a real treat here tonight, but we're not the only ones because this place is packed. The attendance, 8,236. Every time we call out one of these large crowds, it just speaks to the importance of collegiate gymnastics. Alicia Boren before Rachel Gowie here, a 9.925. That's a season high, so even better than she did last week when her mom was watching. The mom watching seems to be working. Rachel Gowie now on beam, though, Kathy.
And Rachel goes above and beyond in terms of difficulty, both in her dance. That was a nice dance sequence there. Now watch this back handspring to 2 layout step outs. 1, 2. She doubted herself ever so slightly. What I said earlier, you really have to make sure you follow through and finish everything. Front aerial to a sisson. Again, she just goes a little beyond what is the basic. So I like to see the fight here. They're not perfect on balance beam, but they're not giving up what they don't have to. They're saving things, fighting to the very end. And that's what you're going to need as you go into postseason. This season is long and so many competitions.
See the opening series once again, Kathy.
This is a lot of fun, but I really think she was pretty straight on. Oh, actually her foot was a little off on that edge.
Look at the toes grabbing on there. Yeah.
You have to have muscles everywhere in gymnastics.
That sisson is beautiful.
And she built to a strong finish. A little legs apart on the landing.
We go over to floor now for Alabama. Abby Armbrecht pulling up a 9.775 from Alonzo Klopfer.
Love to hear this music, just something out of the ordinary. Many of the college gymnasts, I mean, their audiences are young. They're their peers, and they love that hard beating, hard driving music. This is lovely.
Fits her personality a little better. Each gymnast gets to be a part of the choosing of the music and helps with the choreography and what they will show on this floor routine.
Gorgeous leap there, nicely done. Chaîné jeté, I'm sitting next to a ballerina,
Let's
so
go.
we got to pull out our ballet language. All right, so far so good. This routine has all the difficulty it needs. Nice addition there, the double stag jump after the Rudy. Beautiful
Pretty
grand
Bama.
bas.
That was beautiful.
Love it.
Ballet nerds over here.
Yep.
Very nice from Abby Armbrecht on this floor rotation. Dana Duckworth was asking for that extra 1%, and we have seen that from some of these gymnasts.
I think that's a great way to look at it because you can't take too big a steps. You really have to get there incrementally.
Back over to the beam for Florida, and Rachel Gowie had a 9.825. Alyssa Bauman, Kathy, capable of a 10.0. They're asking for her to not try so hard to get that because she can do it in practice.
Which is why I'm not saying anything because I'm not going to jinx her.
Just let her go.
Gorgeous and Nodi. And she'll come back with the back handspring layout, step out. There it is. She is poetry in motion. It really is lovely.
Keep in mind, she's a freshman, everyone.
It may come as a shock if you don't know anything about gymnasts. She is a perfectionist, as many of us are. I'll put myself in that boat, and she puts a lot of pressure on herself on this routine because she knows what she's capable of. Don't you love how
That's
she dances?
my favorite
It is.
part.
Mine too. It's a little thing.
Like, ta-da!
but she dances right out of the front aerial. So she really, this is a complete performance. The dismount's a 1.5 twist. It's not an easy thing to stick. Wow, she fought hard for that. Oh, so happy to see her achieve that near perfection. It's just so lovely. It's the type of balance beam routine you watch and you almost don't want to breathe. Front aerial and just seesaw right out of it. And then boom, the gorgeous little dance move, little skip right out of it. And this is a new dismount for her in college. She likes to do a double twist, but they've convinced her that 1.5's the way to go.
She had a little slip up on beam last week. She was very frustrated with herself. Came back very strong. Here's Kiana Winston on floor, and you're in for a real treat with the technique here from this gymnast.
And technique in both dance and tumbling. Watch how she lifts into this double layout. Oh! She did a pike double back. Playing a little bit more conservative here. She warmed it up and it was beautiful.
Well, she has it, and she can eventually add it back in whenever she wants. Alyssa Baumann, by the way, a 9.925 on the beam. Her score coming in.
She's a little bit off on the timing between that front layout and the front full. She pulled off the front full. A little deduction there. Oh, huh. That's a little bit off too. Normally that leap and the jump after it sails up. So top double back, huge amplitude, and just brings it in so softly for the landing. Yeah, that was weird on the leap. I don't think she was hurt. I think she just sort of buckled a little bit going into it. I think she's making sure. You okay? Yeah, okay.
And the only reason we point that out is because usually it is so much smoother and sky high. But that's a sign of a really talented gymnast to be able to tough through that. Back over to beam. Alex McMurtry now, and that's following up, as we told you, Alyssa Baumann's 9.925, the anchor on this beam rotation for the Florida Gators.
And the last time we were in this arena and Alex was on beam, she scored a 10.0. So anytime you've done that, you kind of know in the back of your mind it's possible. Nope, they're going to take off a deduction there. It's not huge, but they will definitely deduct.
The crowd loves that every time. Flying banana.
It's funny what they choose. I mean, I think it's just obvious that they say to themselves, I can't do that.
Yeah, but I mean, can they do any of the rest of it? Probably not. There could be some gymnasts in this crowd. You never know.
I'm sure there are a lot of little gymnasts up there dreaming someday of having the opportunity that these young ladies have to compete for college. It's so exciting. Double twist, fought for a landing. It was close to one of her best, just a little off on that back handspring layout step out.
Well, and she did have an uncharacteristic fall last week, so good for her to bounce back.
Yes, absolutely.
She rarely does that, but good for her to come back strong.
As I said, all these experiences are so valuable. Slightly off center, you could see it on the roundoff that she was going to go off to the side ever so slightly.
So that means Florida is done with rotation 3. We go to the floor to finish up this rotation with Nikki Guerrero. She loves to perform this no matter where she is, and she feeds off opposing crowds. She tells herself they're cheering for her.
And her first two passes showcased a lot of difficulty. Now she can do a full twisting double back, but they're keeping with the theme of remaining conservative throughout this competition.
Alex McMurtry scored just in a 9.925, so very strong for Florida following the 9.65 by Grace McLaughlin.
Now watch this, a lot of twisting in this pass. Back 1.5 twist to a front full. A lot of gymnasts do this, but they won't twist the second somersault. She does it really nicely.
You know, there are some people in this crowd dancing along to this, so props to her for entertaining no matter where she is.
And she's got a girls right over there doing the routine with her.
Too. They're loud, they're proud.
What a season she's having. So nice to see her on 3 events, consistently scoring well.
She says her success comes when others have success. That's when she's truly at her happiest.
So this was a lot of twisting. Back 1.5, front full. Just like on vault, she knows exactly where the floor is. Comes out with great landings. So this was a great rotation, really, for both teams. I love to see the fight, how they really came up with performances, even when they weren't perfect. Fight all the way through. I'm dying to hear what Jenny Rowland has to say. Laura, what do you have for us down there?
All right, thank you, Kathy. And Jenny, what we saw from your beam rotation, saw it finishing very strong. What impressed you the most?
We had another new lineup today. We had Grace McLaughlin in second today. Her first meet of the entire year. A little jitters here and there, but she handled it well. But very impressed with the beam team and how they covered. They remained calm, they remained focused and confident more than anything. So I was very proud of them.
We've seen season highs throughout tonight. The bars rotation, one of those. What can they do on floor to continue this momentum?
Really enjoy it, have a lot of fun, let Gator Nation help carry us, and just put on a great show.
Thanks so much, Jenny.
Thank you.
Florida gaining on their lead over Alabama as they head into this last rotation. The Gators heading to the floor. Alabama to the beam. We'll be right back. Just over 0.4 of a point lead over 9th-ranked Alabama after rotation 3. We head to the 4th rotation where Florida will head to the floor. They're warming up right now, and Alabama on the beam. Now, we've talked a lot about Jenny Rowland. Adrian Burde, Florida's assistant coach, is also somebody deserving of plenty of credit. Kathy Johnson-Clark, Laura Rutledge here with you. And Adrian has plenty of experience, great credentials. He was a member of the Romanian junior national team, Kathy.
And they have a phenomenal program. So he brings a lot of technical expertise to this Florida gymnastics team.
He coaches floor and vault, and Jenny Rowland says he's the perfect yin to her yang because he's a little wild and crazy at times. She's very calm, and so that makes sense for the events that she coaches, certainly beam. And he's somebody that you just never quite know what he's going to do to cheer everyone up. Here's him making sure that the team was being light in practice,
He always
Kathy.
says if they get a little too serious or start worrying about something, he has to lighten it up. Pretty good on that super hard full, but this is when you say thank goodness for Pitts.
Yeah, exactly. What would you have scored that ball? By the way, that's with LSU's associate head coach Jay Clark doing a little Alice Acone side stretch there. It looks like the flexibility is a little lacking. He used to be a lot more flexible.
We have a lot of fun people in the sport of gymnastics, and they lighten it up when it needs to.
Plenty more to come here from Gainesville. We'll keep lightening it up as we're dancing our way to the final rotation here. We'll see what happens when we come back.
You know I'm straight. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I got my breath. I got my faith, and I remember why I came.
Glorious, glorious. I feel glorious, 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 glorious. I feel glorious, glorious.
It has been a glorious night in Gainesville as we go now to the 4th rotation here. That means Florida, the home team, taking on the floor, and Alabama, the road team, heading to the beam in this road environment. Florida leading this one by just over 0.4 of a point. And Maddie Desch will be leading off on the beam for Bama. Of course, Winter Childers, as we've told you throughout this night, she tweaked her wrist earlier this week, and so she would usually be in this spot. But Maddie now, and of course, she didn't do maybe what she wanted to do on floor, so now an opportunity for redemption here, Kathy.
You said it. You got to view it as an opportunity, and you have to embrace the pressure that does come with that. But this is valuable experience because there's nothing quite like being the lead-off performer for your team on beam. Oh, they'll take a deduction there. Taking her time going into that skill, really settling back in, calming her nerves. I think it's really caught on in college gymnastics. You see a lot more relaxed smiles on balance beam. That's just something you don't see in elite gymnastics for sure. And everybody has told me, research has shown it relaxes you. Just smiling, those muscles, lifting your face, relaxes the body.
You're making me smile.
Most important, you need to learn how to practice the way you compete and compete the way you practice.
Easier said than done in a crowd of over 8,000 on the road, and this apparatus can be intimidating to say the least.
Definitely not for the weak of spirit, but gymnasts inevitably have so much courage, so much spirit. I mean, it takes a lot to put yourself up there, 4 feet off the ground, 4 inches wide.
Nice lead off for Alabama on this event. And now to floor for Florida, their leadoff performer, Rachel Slocum. You're talking about spirit. I don't think she's lacking in anything personality-wise or spirit-wise. And let's see if she nails this floor routine like she nailed the t-shirt cannon earlier in this meet.
She's going to open with a whip back to 2 back handsprings and a pike double back. She's getting so consistent with that pass. She has a double layout that she has worked so hard for and is dying to put in that opening spot. Nice position in that first leap. Gymnasts have to show that full 180-degree split. You can't fake this kind of enthusiasm and joy. I love what she brings to gymnastics, to this routine, for this team. We talked about Adrienne Burde bringing people's spirits up, lightening it up when it needs to. That is her role on this team. Took a little while for them to get used to her because she could be a little bit of a goofball, but now they absolutely embrace it, love it. Oh, they love her here. She just brings so much fun to the floor.
She absolutely does. She brings a lot of fun to the crowd as well.
Good gymnastics, too. Whip back all the way through to a pike double back. That's a nice high double back.
She's got like some background dancers back there. It's fun.
Oh, she just makes you smile. All there is to it.
Pretty toe point on that stag leap, too. Back to the beam for Alabama. Maddie Desch had a 9.75 to lead off the Crimson Tide. And now Abby Armbrecht, her beam average just a little over 9.88.
And don't you love the pictures, that mount, the straddle split, showing off extreme flexibility. She also has a very flexible back. You see when she lifts her leg up and back right here, it shows that off. can tell that all these gymnasts actually construct the routine and choreograph it in a way where they breathe, where they run through their strong mental cues. They're all choreographed into the performance.
Some will talk to themselves, some will sing along to the music. It's just whatever is most comfortable.
Nice 3 leaps. Oh, too bad on that sheep jump. Just could not finish it. It's one of the more difficult jumps on beam. You really have to work hard to keep the hips and shoulders square with the beam as you throw your
Take
head
your
back.
eyes off the beam, yeah.
Look of concentration there. She goes to the double twist. Good landing.
Abby Armbrecht, the second performer in this beam lineup. Here's the flexibility you were talking about.
Beautiful back flexibility. And as I said, she really makes nice pictures throughout this routine. Unfortunately, she got a little turned in the air on that, so when she landed, her feet were slightly turned to the side. Just lost her balance ever so slightly there.
For Florida on floor, Rachel Slocum led off with a 9.875. Amelia Hunley now. Her last meet, she had a 9.8.
So now you'll get a second look at a whip back, which is a back handspring with no hands, basically. It still generates the same type of momentum as a back handspring right here, no hands, right into a tuck double back.
Like a little party routine, it gets you going.
You have to work hard to condition to use that kind of energy, because they don't just dance in their routines, they dance the whole meet on the sidelines with each other. Hike double back. Worked hard to get her chest up, because that wasn't really high in terms of the amplitude in the double back, but to land with the chest up to try not to give that deduction away. Back 1.5 to a front layout. Not quite a perfectly stretched position in that final layout, but each week that routine gets stronger and stronger.
Let's see that first pass one more time. The whip back.
You got it, Laura. Good for you. Nice open chest as she lands there. Good.
We go back to beam for Alabama. Abby Armbrecht had a 9.825. Before her, Maddie Dash with a 9.75. And now Peyton Ernst. This is the only event that we will see her in, but they are working so hard on this event for her, and she's beautiful at it.
It is not just her specialty. This is where her heart is. And when I mention heart, for some of the elite gymnasts, when they come to college, the goal is to find that love of the sport again, because they've been through so much as elite gymnasts. The hard work, the sacrifice, the hours and hours spent in a gym.
This is interesting because she transferred from Florida to Alabama, so she is familiar with a lot of people here, and now she's performing with a different uniform on her. That's got to be a little bit of a different way to approach this meet.
It is, but with a light heart. I think she wants to show how happy that she is in the sport. She's doing a beautiful job. Nice position in that split jump.
You know, I'm watching some of the Florida gymnasts who would have known her when she was on this team. They're almost cheering for her a little bit. You can see the respect. It's very special.
They're friends, they're sisters, even if they're competing for different teams now. Gorgeous landing on the double twist. That's going to make her so happy.
Let's see the sheep jump. This flexibility.
Our producer loves that sheep jump.
He wants to know why it's called a sheep jump. Wow.
Because you have to go way back.
I knew I could get you to do that. Here's a dismount.
Oh, this is so nice to see her cap this routine off with a stuck landing and a smile on her face. Good for her.
Back to floor for Florida. Alyssa Bauman now. She's following up a 9.875, which is a season high from Amelia Hunley. as she hits the floor in front of her home crowd. She hasn't had that many opportunities to do this as a freshman.
Tuck double back. She has a double layout in her repertoire that I'm sure we'll see at some point. She's not the easiest gymnast to hold back. She really wants to do.
She knows she's capable. But
the
it is a
coaches
long
also-
season.
Yes, you took the words out of my mouth. The coaches know how long it is and how much energy these athletes need. Gorgeous middle pass and beautiful control. She dances right out of it.
Both of these teams, of course, will factor into postseason conversation, so you want to make sure you're pacing yourself.
She has some gorgeous pictures throughout this routine. I mean, a photographer's dream, really. Hard to get her in a bad position.
Now's the time to gather your breath a little bit in this dance, which is hard to do when you're dancing, but preparation of this pass.
This is a pike double back. Notice if she lands with the chest up and the lunge steps back instead of forward. Nice to see that. Plenty of energy, plenty of rotation on that final pass. She'll be pleased with that.
Special because this home crowd's still getting used to her and getting used to that routine. They're loving it as well.
Really great gymnastics there. Look at the height on both of those. And the position she hits in the air and gets the turns all the way around.
Almost an oversplit.
You really have to hit that oversplit. I'm sure you know, Laura, for the eye to really take in the full split, you got to go beyond.
Back over to beam for Alabama. And here's Lexi Graber, the freshman who's had an excellent meet on the road. She's been counted on in some pressure spots tonight.
This is exactly what you hope a freshman does. Really just handle the pressure.
She's following up a 9-9 from Peyton Ernst. That's a season high for Peyton. And Alyssa Bauman, a 9.925 on the floor just now. That's also a season high. We're seeing incredible gymnastics on both sides from these teams.
And Laura, when I mention pressure, that sounds like a bad word, like it's a horrible thing to have to feel in a meet. Whoops. Nice cover there. Unfortunately, she was supposed to land on that one leg, swing the other one all the way back into an arabesque.
But what were you saying about pressure?
Well, it's a good thing. You really have to embrace it. It has to become your friend. You have to be comfortable with it. It's not a four-letter word. Certainly not in gymnastics. And these gymnasts learned that. You can't hide from it. You got to just face it head on, and they do it so beautifully and with such style.
Lexi Graber growing up before our eyes tonight.
Watch this save. The foot is off on one corner. She kind of overcorrected, and that is the jeopardy on beam. You can feel something going slightly off. You have to do your best to not overcompensate and overcorrect.
We told you about Alyssa Bauman's 9.925, a season high, so a couple season highs on the floor for Florida as we go to Rachel Gowie now on the floor for the Gators. And this is a very dramatic routine. She loves the drama in her dance and choreography.
Definitely has a different feel, a different personality. And it has the difficulty. Pike double back. Look at the toe point in the air. Many of the gymnasts you'll see do that first pass that she just did at the end of the routine, which really shows a high level of difficulty. press down on that final tumbling pass. They'll take a little deduction there. That's what we say a double pike, double tuck routine, where they open with a double back in pike position and then come back with the same skill but in tucked position.
Let's see that first pass that you're talking about, and maybe we can see the toe point.
Look at that, all the way through pike double back. Nice finesse there. That's just trained in you. It comes from the very beginning. When you're taught your basics in gymnastics, that's drilled into you.
It's like the second her feet leave the floor, they're pointed. She probably walks around all day, like walks to class with her toes pointed. Probably so does Kiana Winston, who now hits the beam for Alabama. Beautiful gymnast here as well.
She has worked so hard on her consistency, her confidence, and relaxing herself. She does get nervous. Dana Duckworth says she has to constantly remind her how beautiful she is, how talented she is, and to show off her gifts.
Yeah, she said this year was the first year that she really started to accept that. Okay, maybe I'm pretty good. Well, yeah, after you've been a champion of multiple events and have continued to show that gymnastics, yes, you are. By the way, she is following, Kiana Winston is following Lexi Graber's 9.85 on the beam. And Rachel Gowie on the floor for Florida with a 9.875 career high.
And this is a highlight. Very difficult round of double back. Oh no. Just a little bit short. You know, I get the feeling that she might be a little under the weather. She just seems like the energy level's down, because that is usually no problem for Kiana Winston. So just a little underpowered, but trust me, she has so much talent and the consistency is there. I just think she's a little under the weather.
They'll be able to rely on her throughout this season, as they always have. And, you know, tonight could be a night that she looks back on and says, okay, I got through that night.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
She has carried this team so many times. They can carry her a little right here.
Alicia Boren's going to take a phone call here as we head back to Floor for Florida. Are you calling her? No? No, no one was there. Okay.
I think it sounds like someone from outer space.
Yes, someone was. There's a gator up there phoning a friend.
Double layout.
Remember her freshman year when they were like, hey, you need to perform your floor routine?
She would
Look
not
at her
smile.
now.
They could not get her to smile in her routine. She was shy. And now she has completely broken through that shell. Nice to see them have some fun with the choreography, but still do the elements the judges are looking for. They need to see those leaps and jumps in sequence.
Jeremy Miranda, their choreographer for these floor routines, consistently does a great job.
Watch how high her chest is on this landing. I mean, she has energy to spare. So much power in this routine.
That was a loud gator chomp because the entire crowd did it with her. They knew it was coming.
They all know the last few dance moves in her routine, too.
Back to the first pass here from Alicia Boren.
Now, when we talk about E-passes, this is one of them, a double layout. We see double backs all the time, sometimes in tuck position like this one, sometimes in pike, sometimes in laid out. The longer body in that laid out position, that's the most difficult.
We'll go back over to beam for Alabama, and their anchor performer is Nikki Guerrero, a 9.7, uncharacteristic for Kiana Winston before her. So Nikki, who is so solid on this event, now takes it on.
Nikki is the type of gymnast that regardless of what has happened before her, she can usually dial in this routine. She's extremely consistent, and she does a lot of difficulty in it. She opens with a 3-element series, back handsprings to 2 layup, step off. Typically solid as can be if she lines it up and follows through all the way to the end.
Nikki Guerrero needs a 9-9 for Alabama to get a season-high team score. And Alicia Boren on floor for Florida just got a 9.95. That's a career high for her.
When we first started seeing Nikki do this balance beam routine, it was always this consistent, but I'm now seeing her perform the routine, really take it to that next level.
She's on a new echelon of confidence for herself at this moment, I think.
She's become a real leader on this team. She came at the beginning of the season and said, make your worst days your best, and she lives it every day. Everybody is following in her footsteps, so great leadership and a great anchor routine for Alabama.
Remember, she needed a 9-9 for Bama to get a season-high team score. You think it was enough?
She has scored really, really well, and because she doesn't give away deductions, like you cannot take away.
Did you see? She was almost laughing as she thought, man, I think I got this stick. Kennedy Baker now in the anchor spot for Florida on floor. And if you want to see somebody who can tumble higher than most people, this would be Kennedy Baker. She's following up Alicia Boren's 9.95, a career high for Alicia.
And this is breathtaking. This opening tumbling run is phenomenal. I'm almost going to call that a layout Arabian double. It's slightly piked, but she opened it up as well as I've ever seen her do.
So remember we said that Nikki Guerrero needed a 9-9 for Alabama to get a season-high team score. She got a 9.95, Kathy, so Alabama with a 197.075. That's a season-high score for them as Kennedy Baker continues for Florida on the floor.
Anytime Kennedy hits that opening tumbling run as well as she did, I know what's going through her mind. I want perfection here. Now this is a fun final tumbling run. It just sort of, it's like playing add-on. Back 1.5, front half, straddle jump, illusion, and finish. Good for her. What a routine. The audience loves it, and I tell you what, they should. This pass is to die for. That is as close to laid out as you can possibly be. Highly difficult, exceptionally done.
This home crowd going wild for Kennedy Baker and this Florida Gators team. They, of course, the Gators have the lead. We will give you the final score on the backside. And after us, Sarah Finnegan and the LSU Tigers taking on the Missouri Tigers. That's coming up right after our meet. We'll be back in just a moment. The home of modern Southern style, an official retail department store of the SEC. Kennedy Baker flying high and was rewarded with a perfect 10 here in front of the home crowd, just bolstering Florida's lead. This top 10 matchup lived up to all the billing. Florida with a 197.850, Alabama with a 197.075. Coming up next for Friday Night Heights as LSU takes on Missouri. For Kathy Johnson-Clark and our entire crew, I'm Laura Rutledge. Here's John Roethlisberger, Bridget Sloan, and Lauren Sisler.